Ah, hi friends, Doc South here, and this is something we all should do every now and then. Take a moment. I'm not saying you have to, but I think, well, see if you agree with me. I think it's a good idea. I think it's sometimes I think it's good to just take a moment and count count or at least recognize the various good people in your life, both in your family and in your day-to-day life. Not necessarily maybe a family member, but still the cool things they do, the wonderful stuff they manage to see or make happen, might be the best way to put it, in the course of a given day. Some of their achievements. I don't know. I'm thinking, and not so much thinking about your own. Think about what they do and how it, and then kind of let that soak into you and make you feel real good about the people in your neck of the woods, shall we say. Like for instance, my brother Ed. Okay, my brother Ed has raised a wonderful family. He and his wife have a very nice home. Ed has sold all sorts of stuff throughout his whole life. He's always been a very good and honest salesman. He now somewhat retired. It's his thing to go out at night and sell pizzas, and he does a darn good job of it. He really does. And his family has never wanted for anything. He's done very well by all of them, and he's been a good brother to me. My brother Ed's wife, real estate agent, worked her self-taught pretty much, and has done a fantastic job doing that. Plus, she has also helped with the house, the kids, and of course had the kids. That's no picnic sometimes. And there you go. They have a daughter, Nitsa, who is a school teacher. May not be right now, but she definitely was. Right. Nitsa's married to a wonderful guy named Jim. Treats her just swell. And Jim's a pretty good guy. Right now, my memory doesn't quite tell me what Jim does for a living, but I'll try to find out. Uh, there, uh, there, there's so many things if you start adding it up that different people in your life have done. Um, Gosh, there's trying to think. Well, Sandy, my wife Sandy. Sandy pretty much is a self-taught antique dealer, very good at it, very good at it. She also advanced herself enough into taekwondo that she, besides being someone who could compete in competitions, also was an instructor and a darn good one. A darn good one. Had her own, what do you call it, her own taekwondo studio too. Did all right with it. There's, there's just so many. If you sit down and give it the old one too. There's a family of mine out in Pennsylvania. They're my mom's side of the family. A very close knit, wonderful bunch of people that just doted on each other. And all of them, many of them now have sadly passed away, but during their prime, they were an inseparable force of relatives and friends. It was pretty cool to go out there and see all the fun they would have. Yeah. I think of the rescue squad people I was with, how they just didn't give a rat's butt. If someone was hurt, they were going to go do what they could to help them or die trying. Some did die trying. Not too many, thank heaven, but one or two. And they pulled off some miraculous saves. Oh, what else? Gee, I'm just spouting off the top of my head here. My father, a fighter pilot, World War II. Pretty good. Raised two kids. I don't know how nice Ed and I were. We couldn't have been much fun to raise. We're always too full of ourselves, but he taught us well and held the line, shall we say. And a decent guy. Oh gosh, it, I think of people at work. Uh, Presently, I work in a supermarket. A lot of the people at that store really know their stuff. They really do. They're raising money for their families. They're they're working hard. It's not easy work, but they do it every day, sometimes 7 days a week. Pretty cool. I've known friends that were, uh, let's see, well, perhaps let's just think what someone, well, there's a million things people do. And, anyone you see doing half decent at a job they do, you got to count them. And if they're your friends, so much the better, friends or relatives. Just makes the family tree that much stronger. Ay, just amazing. But I think of my father in World War II flying fighter planes. I don't know if I said that back a few minutes ago, a minute or so ago, but he did. Um, and it's funny. I think he kind of, at the end of the year, as he got older, I think he was kind of happy he never really got to shoot someone down. I don't think he would have, even though they were the enemy, I don't think he would have really enjoyed that. He would have done it if he had to, of course, but I don't think he would have enjoyed it. Not necessarily a bloodthirsty human being, a guy who'd probably rather play poker any day in a tent with the other side if he could, I think, than not. Wouldn't it have been nice if you could have just settled things by poker games? You send three of your best poker players to the big tent. They send three of their best guys. And if there's three, there's got to be, well, no, I guess there could be three losers on one side and three winners on the other. And that, depending on who lost the most, you got to back up that much for that day on the battlefield. You settle it with a poker game. Maybe someone could bring some beer. And you could do what soldiers would really like to do if they only could. So I've run into in fact, I think some of the veterans I've met weren't necessarily that all fired happy that they did injure or kill the enemy, just like many of the enemy probably felt the same way, inflicting harm um, on our side, to our side. I don't know. I'm just saying. I think people have a lot of good in them, and the more people you find that ooze it, that it just comes out of their pores, the better. But darn near everyone has sometime, somewhere in their life done something good for someone else without worrying about it. Just do it. Rescue for me, radio. I never really made a whole lot on radio, uh, but I sure felt good about cheering people up. I always hoped that before every show, I would kind of said a silent prayer saying that, please help me make some people's day, to make them a little happier, make their time listening to my show good time for them. I remember playing. There was a lady, one of my listeners, was on her deathbed, and the family called me and asked if I could play a song for her because she was fading fast, and found a song and played it. Lady passed away while that song was on. Can't think of her name now, but I was happy to do it. And you also got to thank that family for being so considerate to their loved one who is about to leave this planet anyway. There's buckets of things that people do to make things nicer, and it's good to keep your eyes open, your eyes peeled, as they might say in the Navy, for opportunities, targets of opportunity. And do it. If you get a chance, do it. And I think you'll be a whole lot happier. It'll make your life a little nicer, poking around, looking for something cool you can do that will make someone stay. I think of my friend from SC3 Entertainment, Chris. He one day he just showed up at my house and said, "Doc, here, I got something for you. Come here." And he had these two beautiful speakers. Beautiful speakers. He says, "Your speakers aren't good enough. You got to have them a little louder. And these babies are light, and they're yours." It's just what he said. I felt pretty good about that. And to this minute, I still use them. They were good speakers, still are. You see what I'm saying? And that was a guy who was, in theory, a competitor. Never really was a competitor, nor was I a competitor to him. In fact, we often we found it best if we could find a gig where we could do together. He'd take a break while I'm playing and doing the oldies, and me taking a break when he's doing his stuff, the slightly newer music. Worked out pretty good, truth be known. See what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. People are good, and it's good to keep it that way, my opinion. I'll see you later. God bless. Bye now.